All right, well, I guess there's nothing to it but to do it, right? Hey, here I am on a Saturday morning with my coffee. Cheers. So today, I'm going to be starting a new printer build. We are going to be building this. This is an Enderwire conversion for, well, it's a switch wire conversion for an Ender 3 printer. I like to lay my stuff out in Tinkercad before I start my build here. This is what it's going to look like. I am nowhere near skilled enough to play around in Fusion 360 like this. So if there's any changes that I want to make to parts, I like to have all my stuff laid out beforehand, kind of while I'm printing everything in Tinkercad. Tinkercad's what I use to do my CAD work because it's made for an 8th grader. And that's the limit of my brain power right now. So this is what she's going to look like. The frame is Ender 3. The control board we're going to use is the stock Ender 3 control board. I think we reuse some of the stepper motors. I'm not sure what else we're going to reuse. I'm going to do a quick unboxing of the Ender 3 and of the Siboor kit. And then we're going to start by installing some heat set inserts, I think. Go over to the manual. Siboor has a manual. They came out with this kit not too long ago, the first switch wire that I built. The red one behind me here. I self-sourced because there was no kit. Since then, Siboor has come out with a kit to swap one of these over. I'm kind of excited to see what's all in the kit. It was cheaper to buy the kit than it was for me to self-source all the stuff for this thing. So, pretty good deal. I think it's, I don't know, 300 bucks, 350 bucks, something like that for the Siboor kit. They're kind of a newer company in the printer kit game, I guess. The first Voron that I built is a little V0. And I bought that from Siboor. The reason I bought that kit is because it came with printed parts, and I did not have the capability to print ABS. So it was nice to buy that and then kind of bootstrap my way up to building this guy and this guy. I've got a V2.4 in a box down here that I'm probably going to tackle after this printer build, and I printed all that stuff on the V0. So yeah, get into it here. Over to the bench top. Hopefully you can see all right. All right, where should we start? Should we start with the Ender or should we start with the Siboor kit? I guess we'll start with the Siboor kit. There it is. There's a very unique aroma to this package. I think most packages from China have that warehouse industrial smell. It looks like it's packaged really well. I don't know, we could probably zoom out a little bit for you guys. But that's as far as we're gonna get. Looks like we have a little case. This is probably going to have our hot end in it. Yep, just a regular V6 hot end. We got sock, we got a heat block. Like we have a little package. Let's do this. Like we have a little package with nozzles, screws, heat brake. There's an Allen wrench there. And then we have an extra nozzle and an extra heat brake. So we will worry about that guy a little later on. A lot of work to do before we're ready for a hot end. We have a little pancake motor, stepper on line. That's for our extruder. Looks like they gave us a new power inlet. So for whatever reason, we don't need to use the one that came out of the Ender. We've got all of our bearings for the bearing blocks here. Little flanged bearings. I'm assuming they're proper Voron spec. We have a little case with all of our, looks like this is all parts for the tool head board. Wow, that's going to be not ideal if we have to pin our own tool head harness. But we will see. We have wires for something, not sure for what. And it looks like a little ADXL board. Now, I have never done input shaping calibration, so this will be, I have the provision on all of my printers, but I've never actually run it. So maybe this will be the first time I run input shaper. Over here, this box, what is this box? Oh, it's our little DC to DC converter for our Pi. Probably going to use this to run our LEDs too. We'll see how much power it puts out. We've got a couple fans for building the silk burner with, both Siboor brand, I guess. Didn't know Siboor was in the business of making fans, but down here we have a case fan. And this is the keyback replacement. So keybacks aren't available all over the world. Keyback is, grab this and I'll bring you over here. Maybe. Oh, we throw. All right, well, so much for that. Reboot that. Did we kill it? Oh, I think we killed it. All right, well, looks like we're just on this camera today. I can show you on this guy. This is a keyback. This guy here. This isn't an actual keyback. This is a knockoff, but keybacks are like what janitors use to, you know, keys on a chain, run around and open doors, what have you. On the switch wire, go back to the desktop real quick. There's nothing holding the gantry up. We don't use lead screws. There's no lead screws in this. We're going to have motors here and here and belts that go around to lift the Z and move the X at the same time, like an Etch-a-Sketch works. It's the Core XZ printer. Because there's no lead screws, there's nothing that actually holds the gantry up other than whatever amount of force is in the motors keeping them from turning. So you use a key back with a cable that comes up and back down to take weight off the gantry so it doesn't just crash into whatever you're working on. But keybacks aren't available all over the world. So Siboor has made some modifications to use this door closer instead. I guess these are a lot more readily available. Just gonna open this up and take a peek. This is probably just a generic mount that the door closer comes with. And this is gonna go in the mount. Oh boy, that's really strong. That's way stronger than a keyback. And then that's gonna go up and back down and hold the gantry up. I'm not sure what the little wrench is for. And we have, oh, knocking stuff over here. What are you doing? We have a little baggie with toolhead LEDs. They're gonna zoom back in. Hold these at a weird angle. And you know what? I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna cut this box so it's not taking up so much room over here. Pardon me for a moment. Make some room on the workbench here. There we go, that's better. All right, so this is a little baggie with, it looks like our toolhead LEDs, a limit switch, our thermistor, and our heating element. So that's all for our hot end. We have our belt that we're going to use here. We have a roll of VHB. We're going to use that for our panel mounting. Looks like this is, oh, it does come pre-terminated. All right, well, maybe that was just an off-the-shelf kit somewhere that came with a bunch of extra connectors, because this all looks pre-terminated. That's good. This is our wiring harness. And we got a bunch of zip ties and a little 5-volt harness. Maybe that's for the Pi, I'm not sure. And we have, what is this guy? Nope, this looks like our screen. Yep, sure is. Little knob. This will be our interface for the printer. Oh, and it comes with a little breakout board. That's nice. Means we don't have to run those big thick cables. We can run a USB-C. then I believe this is our clipper expander. Gives us a little bit more functionality out of our board because we're going to be reusing the stock Ender board for this. This will also be the first one that I've built using the stock Ender board. Usually I put a big Tree Tech board in there. Looks like we got a couple stepper motors here. Siboor branded. 1742s it looks like. These are going to be our XZ motors. Look both the same. We've got a whole bag full of USB cables. One for the screen probably, one for the Pi probably. I'm not sure what the other one is. We got some pre-terminated wires. Big thick guys. And our Omron probe. Our proximity probe for boop boop. And then we have cable chains. These are 2-hole cable chains. I was wondering about that when I was printing parts. I hope I printed the correct parts for the 2-hole chains. Chains come in either 2-hole or 3-hole. Looks like all the chains are in there. All right, what do we got under this guy? Layer 2. We have our feet. Big beefy rubber compressor feet. That's always nice. We have, oh, these are our LEDs for the top. We've got our linear rails. Siboor branded. They actually don't feel too bad. And they come with a carrier also to help load and unload the carriage from the rail. We're going to go through that for cleaning purposes. We have a piece of extrusion. The bill of materials for the Enderwire calls for cutting down the X extrusion. The Siboor provided one, so we don't have to cut it down. That's nice of them. We've got, don't think this is a whole bed. This is probably just the build surface and a magnet. The stock Ender one leaves a little bit to be desired, so that's good. Yep, just a double-sided PEI. It doesn't have quite the same texture as the other beds that I use. It's a little bit smoother, so we'll see how that works. Siboor thing up front. Ender 3 switchwire down there. Look, it's the same both sides. It's the magnet sheet we'll have to install. I'm pretty excited for this. I hope you guys are as well. And then layer 3 looks like we have just the panels. Yep. I'm not going to unbox the panels right now. We'll do that at the very, very end. I'm not looking forward to that. These printers are not fun to enclose. You watched the last stream that I did, we enclosed one, and not much fun. I'm just going to set this aside for a minute and we'll get out the Ender box. This is an Ender 3. This is a brand new Ender 3, right from Micro Center. Probably a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. I went to some training for work, and there was a Micro Center where I went. We don't have a Micro Center by us, so I had to travel out there to check that one out, and picked up a couple of these $100 Ender 3s that they had on special. One of them is what turned into that red printer that I showed you earlier, and then this is the other one. I don't know if I actually have to unbox an Ender 3 for anybody, but we're going to anyway. This stuff I'm just going to pull out of this box and leave it out because I don't think I really need to keep it organized. We're just going to be using it for parts. Look at that. Inland $10 off your next filament purchase. What a deal. Their filament's actually not too bad. I used it a lot when I first got started 3D printing. Whole bunch of stuff that we're not going to need. Instructions for the printer. I'm actually going to set this aside and we're just going to pull it out of here. Alright, so we have a stock screen for an Ender. We will not be using this. Actually, I guess I can just keep it in that bag. I have a couple pieces of extrusion. These we probably will be using. Might as well unwrap them. But one of these we're going to use. So one of these is the top of the, goes across the top, and then one is the x-axis. So one we're going to use, one we're not. I have the base of the printer here. This is the, what is this? The extruder and the X motor. Like that. We might be using that extruder motor. I think that's the only piece on that we're going to need. I've got a power supply. We will be needing the power supply. Baggie full of hardware. Bed scraper. Z motor, I don't think we're going to be using. We got a welcome kit. Looks like there's a SD card, some rollers, some hot end parts, a little bit of filament. Another piece of the filament holder, another piece of bracketry, power cord. This, I believe, is the Y extrusion. Why? Because we can. Oh no, I'm sorry, not the Y extrusion. These are the Z extrusions. Oh, and also it looks like the Z-axis lead screws in here as well. Don't need that guy where we're going. Is that everything? I believe that's everything. Brains just a minute. And we'll start taking stuff apart. All right, let's see what the computer wants us to do. Siboor assembly manual. Before I start reading, I'm gonna grab some coffee. I'll be right back. All right, coffee, share out. Oh, I forgot. Also have big old bag of printed parts. All right. Let's read some instructions. Can't start a build without instructions, right? Before you begin on your journey, a word of caution. In the comfort of your own home, you are about to assemble a robot. You know, that was going to be the original name for my channel here. Something about self-assembling robots, self-replicating robots, gray goo. Because the joke is my favorite thing to print is other printer parts. This machine can maim, burn, and electrocute you if you're not careful. Please read the entire manual before you start assembly. As you begin building, please check our Discord channels, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for spending time to read this. I hope you have a happy building experience with us. All right, so I do have to say before I start this, Voron did not design the Enderwire. The Voron design team made the switch wire. This orange one is an actual switch wire. The switch wire project was meant to use a bunch of Prusa Mark III parts, I believe. It has Voron's first and only bed slinger. It uses a Prusa bed, uses some other stuff from Prusa. There are a whole bunch of awesome people in the Voron Discord. If you haven't perused, everybody's super willing to lend a hand. really cool place to hang out. Lots of awesome projects going on over there. Voron is a very unique thing. They call themselves a company. I don't know if I would actually call them a company because they don't sell anything. Don't know that they make any money. So Voron is more than just a person. It's definitely a community. As this says right here, Dark Dog was, I don't think the original designer of the Enderwire. I believe that was, I think the guy's name's Triano. But Dark Dog did a lot of work to kind of revitalize the project, improve it a lot. And most of the videos you'll see about Enderwires on YouTube are Dark Dog designs. Put in a ton of work to make this thing work. And then these people down here were beta testers. This Raheem is actually the contact that I spoke with doing my V0. I had some questions about the company and build quality because it was so much cheaper than anything else out there. You could get, I think you still can, you can get a V0 kit with printed parts cheaper than anybody else is selling a V0 kit without printed parts. But he answered a lot of questions for me, so shout out to Raheem. Super cool dude, helped me out a bunch. Should also shout out the Siboor reps, the help team from Siboor's Discord. They were fantastic. I had an issue with my extruder motor, and they helped a ton on my V0. Helped troubleshooting, helped me get to the bottom of everything. It was awesome. So, thank you to Siboor. Thank you to Dark Dog. Thank you to the beta testers, especially Raheem there, for getting me through my V0 build. I'm going to jump back over to Tinkercad for a minute because I am not doing a... One second here. I'm not building a stock build. Mine has some added different parts. So these motor drives are not from the stock build. These ones have provisions for a mount to the Z extrusions, just to make them a little bit stronger. They also have down here at the bottom a provision for a bolt to hold the two halves together. I'll show you guys all this when we actually start the build, get into it. But the original ones don't have this bolt to hold the bottoms together either. So these are a little bit beefier design that I've used on 2 builds now, and they work out pretty well. The other thing that you're going to notice is different is this tool head. Does not look like a stealth burner. Excuse me for 1 second, I got a cough. That. Sorry about that. So this tool head is from the Darwin. I don't know if this is 100% going to work. I'm hoping it's going to because it's kind of cool and different. Vez 3D, the guy that made the VZ bot for Smurf this year, Rep Fest over in England. He designed kind of a retro throwback printer to, I think he said it was the first open source rep printer, whatever, called the Darwin, and he made the Darwin Evo, which had this really cool looking tool head on it. And I had kind of heard through the grapevine that this tool head inside is just a stealth burner. So I went and downloaded the files and took a peek at them. And actually, if you look, at this guy, sure enough, inside, this is just a stealth burner. So I thought, man, wouldn't that be cool to put on my little black and white kind of stormtrooper themed Enderwire here. So that's what I did. I modified this little back thing to have a little stormtrooper logo on it. The one that I printed is actually this one over here. I pulled the little teardrop out of here and put the Voron logo in the center. So that's another little change I did. I don't think I did too much else to this. We'll go through it when we start putting it together. I don't think I did too many other changes though. The reason I went into that little tangent is because I was thanking all of the people that helped make this work. So thank you, everybody. All right. Got a little table of contents. Printed part guidelines. Everything's printed in ABS with a 0.2 layer height, 0.4 mil extrusion width. I did everything in cubic infill, what I normally do. 40% infill, 4 walls, 5 top bottom. I think I did 5 walls, 5 top bottom, but fine. This just calls out what they're calling all the different kinds of screws. Oh, that was something that I didn't show you guys. One of the cool things with Siboor is they have these hardware kits. The bench real quick. So they have these hardware kits. Normally you would get something like this where it's just a bag with a bunch of bags in it full of hardware. But Siboor makes these little tackle box hardware kits that are all labeled, so you know exactly what's in what tackle box or what compartment, and makes it really nice to build from. Super cool. The computer. So this is just calling out what the terminology is for the different hardware. We got a button head screw, socket head screw, flathead countersunk screw, hex nut, T-slot nut, yada yada yada. This tells you where everything is in the box. And a bunch of heatset inserts. We're going to come back to that. Are we? No, actually, let's take this Enderwire apart first. Or take the Ender 3 apart first. I'm all set. Oh. All right, we will not be needing the lead screw. We will not be needing this carriage, not be needing the screen. We are going to need both of these. My little bench cam has started working yet. Still froze. Go away. Worry about you some other time. We're going to need one of these extrusions. I believe it's this one. This one was for the x-axis. We won't use that. Yeah, I'm just gonna start taking stuff apart. It's all got to get broke down anyway. Zoom in. Like I said, this printer doesn't have a lead screw, so regardless of which stepper we have to repurpose, because I do think we have to repurpose one, we will not be using this collar. It goes in the box. I don't think we're reusing any of this wiring, so I'm just going to yank it all off of here. Might as well take this guy apart. This extruder off of here. This is probably what we're going to repurpose for the y-axis. We're done with that. All right, get into this guy. Why don't you come off of there? Not all one piece, is it? Can't be. No, it's all got to come apart anyway, so. Oh, lost a screw. And we got one more. Ah, there was a screw on top. That's why it wouldn't come apart. Take this fan off of this housing. I don't think we're going to reuse that, but you never know. Housing we're definitely not going to use. A whole bunch of hot glue holding all the connectors in place. And since we are pretty much only going to use the board, we gotta get that hot glue off. Start with these screw terminals. Out of there. A few more for the bed and the hot end. All right, what I have found with these, for a moment while I roll my sleeves up, what I have found is usually if I get in here with the, got a little pair of tweezers, pick most of that hot glue out. Loosen these connectors up. Like I got a couple viewers. Hello, viewers. Not sure who's watching me, but hi. Thanks for joining me on a Saturday morning. I'm having my coffee, building a printer. And that should just release all these guys. I think some people say that IPA works pretty well to loosen up that hot glue as well, but I've never really had a problem getting them loose. Typically, the stuff just pops right off. Got all our limit switches on this side. And they really didn't hold back with this hot glue. They say the bigger the gob, the better the job. There's a famous YouTuber that says that, right? I know this isn't super easy to see, I'm sorry. Fiddly work. Display cable. Looks like this is the connector with it. Gonna pop that guy back on.